those that run like me, or giving you a moment to pull yourself together. Okay. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda? And I know Sarah has done the roll call, so if we could all rise and say the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just slip off the edge of my seat. So we have approval of the minutes of the June 9th, 2026 regular meeting and the June 9th, 2026 closed session. Support. Okay, we have support and, or motion and support. Is there any discussion or? No? Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we have approved 2 meeting minutes. We go down to hearings, and number 1 is hold a hearing regarding a dangerous building determination for 1237 Michigan Ave to receive comment. Move to open public hearing.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we have opened the meeting, and are you taking?
Yeah, we'll have the city attorney take the lead.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you, Mr. City Manager and Madam Vice Mayor. Good evening, members of the commission and members of the public. It's a pleasure to be here this evening. Madam Vice Mayor, we have a hearing now for consideration of a dangerous building order that was issued by the hearing officer, Jim Gray, on or about May 12th of 2026. If I may, I'll just provide a little bit of background on this. There is a structure in the city of Elma on the property is known as 1237 Michigan Avenue in the city of Elma, County of Gratiot, State of Michigan, 48801. On that property, 1237 Michigan Avenue, there is a structure that the city believed is a dangerous building, and meaning it's in violation of the Housing Code of Michigan, of the International Building Code, which has been adopted by the city, and it's not fit for human habitation. The city held a hearing to address the dangerous building issue. Jim Gray sat as the hearing officer. Mr. Gray serves as a building inspector for several different municipalities, including Fremont Township, Swan Creek Township, Richland Township in Saginaw County. At the time of the dangerous building hearing, testimony was provided, and the owner of the property, who I believe is present here in the audience this evening, also appeared and had an opportunity to present whatever evidence he desired and offer whatever testimony he desired. Notice was provided to all interested parties. Based upon a review of public records, there is no mortgage on the property. There was previously a mortgage in favor of Commercial Bank. So in order to essentially make sure all of our bases were covered, we provided notice to them out of an abundance of caution, but that mortgage, upon information and belief, has been satisfied. So notice of that hearing was provided to all folks who, in entities that had an interest in the property or had any kind of potential interest in the property. Again, at that time, evidence was put forward based upon Michael Carr's testimony, the photographs of the structure. The hearing officer himself went to the property and conducted his own review. Mr. Leon was present, who is the building owner, who is the gentleman in the second row in the black t-shirt. He was present, offered his own testimony, and whatever evidence he desired to offer. At the conclusion of the hearing officer issued an oral opinion in which he found that the structure was a dangerous building and that it was did pose a danger, to health and human habitation, and that it was not fit for human habitation. The hearing officer provided 14 days for the property owner, and I should say the hearing officer came to the conclusion that the only way to make the structure safe was through demolition demolition, that there was no measure short of demolition, such as repairs, that would render the structure safe. Obviously, to some extent, a building is always repairable, depending on how much money you want to spend, right? If you had an unlimited amount of money, you could render any structure safe short of demolition. But when the legal standard, when we sort of do the analysis of is it reasonable to repair the structure, we compare the true cash value of the structure with the amount of money that it would take to render the structure safe. And simply stated, to the cost to repair the structure would cost more than the property itself is worth. So given that information, the hearing officer determined that the only method available to render the structure safe would be demolition. On May 12th, the hearing officer issued a written order to that effect. The order provided the property owner until May 26th to complete the demolition. As of tonight's date, that demolition has not yet occurred. Per the hearing officer's order, at this time, if the order is affirmed by this commission, the city would have the right to complete the demolition on its own. Madam Vice Mayor, before the commission this evening is the hearing officer's order, and this is a required step under Michigan's housing code. And the commission's task this evening is to consider the order, consider whatever evidence or material that Mr. Leon would like to provide, and ultimately the commission would need to either affirm the order, which would mean that it would stay in place and essentially it would be approved, or the commission could modify the order if it wanted. Modifications could include providing more time. Theoretically, it could include ordering repairs short of demolition, things of that nature. And so ultimately, that's the question the commission will be asked, is does the commission wish to affirm the order or modify it in some way? Lastly, Madam Vice Mayor, I will state that if the structure is not demolished by the owner voluntarily, the city would have the legal right to complete the demolition. The cost of that demolition would become a lien on the property and then would be collected and treated in the same way as any other property tax lien. A demolition lien under the Michigan Housing Code is subordinate to other liens, meaning if there was a pre-existing mortgage on the property, it would be junior to that mortgage. However, our review of the public records for this property indicates there is no mortgage on the property and there's no other recorded liens. So we would be first in right at that point because we'd be recording our lien first. And so if it came to that, where the city had to complete the demolition itself, the cost of the demolition, again, would be placed as a lien on the property, and it would be no different than if the property owner did not pay his property taxes. It would be collected in that same way. Madam Vice Mayor, I'm happy to answer any questions that there may be, but that's a background of how we got here this evening. I would respectfully recommend that the property owner be allowed to provide his presentation and offer any thoughts he may have. And then ultimately, as I said, I'd respectfully ask the commission to consider whether it would like to affirm the order or modify it in some way. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So the proper protocol would be, the next step would be to ask Mr. Leon to
Yes.
present, and then we can have a discussion or
And
questions.
all public?
Yes, exactly. Madam Vice Mayor, I respectfully recommend that at this time, Mr. Leon be allowed to provide his presentation. After he concludes, I'd respectfully recommend that any other member of the public be allowed to speak.
Okay.
And then at that time, once that portion has concluded, then the city commission itself could have a discussion about how it would like to proceed.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Leon, would you like to come to the podium and state your name and address and provide us with your information?
How you doing, Your Honor? I'm Jose Leon. My address is 825 North Clinton Avenue in St. Johns, Michigan. I purchased this house as a fixer-upper years ago. It was kind of a slow process. It needed a foundation wall, which was the first thing that it needed, which I got done, which is the one that came down. My builder was here the first meeting we had, and my attorney wasn't able to show up last minute. I'm sorry. So I've been trying to fix it up. I did the interior. I was almost, say, 60-70% till we got some heavy rain last month and this wall fell, not counting on it. I come into my house, to my parking lot, there's a big old yellow caution sign, not knowing what was going on. I almost had a heart attack. So I called my builder, right? I sent him a video. I'm like, hey, buddy, what's going on? I'm like, look, oh my God, Jose, I'm gonna take care of it. I'm gonna take care of it. I go, listen, we got court already. I go, they already red tagged it. I said, we gotta go record, and he came with me the other day. So, I didn't know what I was walking into, right? They decided I didn't come with an attorney, obviously, because I didn't know what I was walking into, so I didn't know what they decided. Obviously, my contractor was gonna fix it. I mean, he couldn't touch it, obviously, right? But he wanted to fix the problem as soon as possible. I said, listen, we can't touch the building till we get it court and we get it straightened out. We gotta leave it how it is. So, me and him had a conversation. I need this building. I really do. I've been trying to fix it up. I spoke with him, and he's willing to do the whole foundation on the whole building and fix it. I mean, fix all the codes that are there. I mean, the foundation, it's the main, obviously, one of the main reasons, right? So him by fixing that, he's gonna have to do all 4 walls. You know what I mean? Or I'm gonna come after him. You know what I mean? Because I paid him for something, and he has to back up his word. And he's willing to do that. I'm giving him a proposition. We set another amount. We needed an opportunity to fix this building, and he was, like I said, he was supposed to show up today, and he didn't. But he's willing to start on it as soon as next week. You know what I mean? And I sent a proposition to Mr. Foley. Did you get it, Mr. Foley? No.
If you...
I have it on my phone.
Okay.
Did you get it or no?
Well, if you emailed to me, I'm sure I did.
All right. Did you pass that down to the mayor or what?
Well, you're welcome to present any evidence you have here this evening. They have the hearing officer's order and any evidence that was presented at the hearing. So they have all of the evidence that was presented at the hearing and became an exhibit to the order.
Would you like to see that?
If you would like to read your proposition, I mean, I'm guessing you're proposing how you think that you can
well,
compare this, or what kind of timeline?
The timeline, I mean, it's up to you pretty much, the timeline. We're willing to give us, I mean, to do whatever timeline you give us, you know what I mean?
Well, I guess my question, the one that I would have is if the hearing determined that the cost of the repairs for the property exceeds what the value of the property is, have you already paid this builder to do these repairs?
Yes.
And so you've already invested the money for the repairs, is what you're saying?
Exactly, yeah. And I don't owe any money on the building. I paid it off. I pay my taxes every year. I needed to fix it, you know what I mean? I had an offer for it a couple years ago, which I could have sold it. And I didn't sell it because I wanted to make something out of it, you know what I mean? And I just needed an opportunity to get it right, obviously with all the codes, obviously with a city inspector, you know what I mean? If, you know, looking at it, you know.
If I may, Madam Vice Mayor, sir, I don't mean to, correct me if I'm wrong. My understanding from your presentation at the hearing was that you were in some type of a dispute with your builder, that you guys that you had a disagreement.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, he's agreeing to fix the whole building, the whole foundation of the building, and all the other codes that need to be fixed.
Madam Vice Mayor, I only raised that because I don't know how much Mr. Leon has paid. So I'm not sure if he's representing that he's actually paid fair market value for these repairs. That was not my understanding based upon what was said at the hearing. But obviously I don't know, I don't have firsthand knowledge of that. I would state, Mr. Leon is correct that if there's a tremendous problem with the foundation, I don't think that's the only problem, but that is one of the problems that was found by the hearing officer. I do think Mr. Leon has owned this property for many, many years. Is it 8 or 9 years?
Approximately.
So I think it's been in this condition for that time, basically, in a more or less a substantially similar condition, save perhaps the most recent disastrous issue with the foundation. But I think it's been in a state of disrepair for nearly a decade. And I think the hearing officer himself did visit the structure and made firsthand determinations based upon what he observed. Right, so that's what my understanding from the information I've been given is that it is in
such disrepair that it's dangerous for humans to be in it.
As far as, I never had people in there, obviously, because it needed work done. The foundation was fine until it fell a month ago. So we didn't have an issue with that, and we wouldn't be here if that wall didn't fell, obviously, because I was getting it done inside. I ran new drywall, electricity, and obviously we had this big problem, right? And it's the next big issue. And now I understand what the building inspector's telling me, that if that wall needs to get done, all the other ones need to get done. And that's why I spoke with my builder, and he's agreeing to redo the whole walls on the building. You know, and not just that, I mean, I'm gonna redo the siding, all the codes that are done, I'm gonna redo the whole building. I'm trying to write it out what I'm trying to do, Your Honor.
Well, and I understand, and I hear you saying that you fixed the inside, but and I've not looked at it myself, if the literal walls have
You're right.
crashed in, then it's, what you've done inside will have to be redone as well, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, and I think it's not only a danger if someone was in it, I think it's probably a danger for pedestrians or
For sure.
kids or anybody that could get into it and possibly get hurt. So I think that's what the order from the, I can't remember.
The hearing officer.
The hearing officer, that it needs to be demolished, and you're given a deadline to do that. I appreciate your information, but I also think that if it's in this much disrepair, that it was deemed uninhabitable, for 10 years, we can't leave it that way for I don't even know if a month. I mean, I don't know if the repairs you're suggesting could be done quickly enough that it would be safe.
I think the repairs could be done. Your Honor, I had my contractor look at it, and he's willing to jump on it tomorrow. You know what I mean? He knows he has to complete his...
Well, and I also appreciate him saying that to you, but having been in the thick of 3 years of repairs myself, they can say one thing and then another thing happens. So, does anyone else have any questions for Mr. Leon specifically, or?
Is there a deadline that's been set with the?
No, I'm just waiting to get it. I have him on call. I'm just here waiting to get permission from you guys.
Has he given you an indication of how long it would take?
He's telling me about a month or so, or maybe less, but I'm pretty sure he can probably get it down to less. But like I said, he hasn't touched it because, I mean, we haven't came here, you know, we're waiting for it.
What was the date that this all started, the inspection started? Before this, do you know, like roughly?
Sure, the date of,
Well, I'm just saying, like, if the builder had, you know, he could have started working on this before, because they've had warnings.
Yeah, the
Yes.
demo deadline was May 26th.
yes, so
But before that, I'm saying, like, the builder didn't come through to, you know, you put your money into it, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know if you knew that these were coming, that it had fallen, you know, because I'm pretty sure that the foundation has been more than just this last rainfall, right? On the west side, it's been open for a year or two, maybe?
No, I fixed it. It just fell when we got this rain last month. And I came in and there was a caution sign and they had to put a
I thought there had been construction, like, stuff up for like the last year or so on the west side.
They were fixing other things in the building, but as far as the foundation, well, I got that done 5 or 6 years ago.
Okay.
And we got this heavy rain last month. And I come in and obviously you couldn't touch it. I mean, the building was red tag, so we were just kind of like, hold, you know what I mean? We can't do anything. But it was just obviously, if that wall wouldn't have fell down, we wouldn't have had a problem.
So
So I
is
came
it,
down-
when it was tagged, when you're saying it's red tag, does that mean that he was not
Inspector.
allowed to do any repairs on it?
Yeah, and I didn't even get a call either when the wall fell. I mean, I came to mow the lawn and I put in the parking lot and there's a big old caution sign around, like, what's going on? That's when I called my builder and I sent him the video. And we couldn't come in the building or touch it till we came here and started with you guys.
if I may, I would encourage Mr. Glenn to correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is that during the entirety of his ownership, so the past 8 or 9 years, the structure has been in disrepair and has not been used for any purpose. It's sat there and been in basically an ongoing condition of repairing for that period of
Yeah,
time.
it was getting worked on.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I don't, I want to state it accurately, so I think work's been going on for 8 or 9 years or so.
Slowly.
The building permit that was pulled for the foundation was never closed. That means there was never a final inspection, so there's reasons why that fell in.
Yeah, okay.
So-
All right, thank you.
That's why the foundation is a big issue, but it's not the only issue as far as the hearing officer found.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anyone else have any other questions for Mr. Leon?
I can't imagine how if the foundation needs to be completely rebuilt, and thusly the 4 walls that are holding the structure up are on that foundation and are in bad shape. I can't imagine how rebuilding of that is going to possibly be any cheaper than demolishing the building, because that's what you're going to have to do anyhow in order to put in a new foundation and and new walls and consequently a new roof and everything else.
Right, and to go, back to what Eric said, that there wasn't a final inspection on the last time your contractor did it, so that's why it caved in, because they didn't have it final inspected to be red flag.
Well, they didn't have it done.
They didn't do it, so there wasn't a
If it was
inspection.
properly put back together, that rain wouldn't have,
Correct.
Collapsed.
but that wasn't, that was the final straw
Correct.
that pushed it
Okay.
in.
I'm all set with my questions, thank you.
All right, thank you. You can have a seat. Thank you.
Any other members?
Are there any other members of the public that would like to speak on this issue? Okay.
Wes Rosiani, reside at 889 Mill Street here in Elma. As you are probably aware, I run around with a camera and a bicycle. And this building was one of the ones that I had photographed, and I have images of that building as well as a number of other ones in town. I know at one point there was a stop order on the building because there had been no building permit pulled. That west side that you spoke of has been open, it's an open trench. The only thing protecting anybody from getting down in there is a caution, yellow caution tape that it's on the ground in one section. So if you're considering extending the deadline, that area is not safe for anybody to be close to it. There's construction debris all through that parking lot with nails, broken glass. There's a house right next door. I don't know about, and it's a neighborhood, so there's kids running around. And I think that the amount of time that has been invested is one thing, and the money is one thing, but there is a bigger issue of the safety for the community. The image of that thing sitting there and rotting over, and what's down inside, I have no idea, but outside, it didn't get better. The vegetation was up the side of the building. The grass had not been cut for a long time. I think somebody here got some pictures of it, and the grass got cut. But I just think that there's been plenty of time to do something about it. And I don't know, I wasn't here when this rain happened, but it sounds like it was, I'm in agreement here that you probably aren't going to, the cost is going to be exorbitantly more than is anticipated to fix it. And my concern has always been the fact that it's open. It's not fenced off, it's not closed off. Anybody can walk in there. There's not even any no trespassing signs. And there's 2 trailers, I think, and a pickup truck that are stored on the site in the parking lot now. It's just an eyesore for the community in the neighborhood. And I mean, there's enough things that detract from the aesthetics, and this one's sitting there for, I don't know how long it's been. I had the sale charts. In fact, I got some pictures of that and some other things to present later. But it's been an eyesore ever since it went out of business. They just sat there, and an empty building dies. I don't care what, an empty building that's not occupied dies. I think there were apartments upstairs, sir?
There's a 3-bedroom apartment upstairs.
And but I don't know when they moved out, but I know it's been vacant for a long time.
Yeah, that's the one I was working on, the 3-bedroom upstairs, obviously, because the downstairs needed a bunch of wood.
All right, so if you're going to extend it, it's got to be protected. I mean, you have, the streets are closed when they're working on the streets, so it's the same kind of thing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just for dates, looking at the permit was pulled in 2022. The last inspection, the only inspection that was done in 2023. So that's
you.
the last information that we have for when people were actually working on it. Yep.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else from the public that would like to speak? Okay,
Move to close the public hearing.
Support.
okay, all those in favor of closing the public hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
So at this time, if I may, Madam Vice Mayor, I would recommend that the commission have a discussion that they feel is appropriate. Eventually, I would ask for the commission to consider the matter and make a motion to either affirm the hearing officer's order, which would, just like it sounds, it would confirm the order, and the order as written would continue. Alternatively, the commission could make a motion to modify the order, and if that's what the commission desires, we would just want to state what the modifications would be.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Without having seen it myself, because I didn't go, it sounds to me as if it is pretty much demolished already and just needs to be removed from the lot to not be a safety issue. Does anyone have any other?
I've watched it for years.
Yeah, I've driven past that 4 times a day for 10 years on the bus, and it's looked like that the whole time I've been by there. I can't imagine realistically, I mean, if we were to give them 30 days or 60 days, I can't imagine anything that would be necessary happening in that short a period of time. I can't see this being done in less than a year.
Ready? Let's move on to item 8.
Okay. All right. Consideration of a resolution to affirm hearing officer Jim Gray's order declaring existence of dangerous building and ordering remediation for 1237 Michigan Ave.
Move to adopt.
Support.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so we have voted to affirm the decision to demolish what remains there, or to remove that from the property.
How much time do I have? Because I have stuff in the building.
Well, I will defer to the attorney because I know the deadline was May something initially, but I'm not sure.
Thank you. So, sir, we can talk afterwards also, but I will tell you that the commission has voted to affirm the order. The order provided you until May 26th. So theoretically, it could happen immediately, but there is a process that would have to take place. We need to determine if you're going to complete it as required, and if you're not, then the city would have to take action. So that process will take a little bit of time. But my recommendation would be to you that you should remove any personal property out of there, because we're technically already a few weeks past the deadline provided by the hearing officer. So I wouldn't wait at all to remove personal property. I'd remove it as soon as you can. But you'll have some degree of notice prior to any demolition, of course.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
For your assistance.
My pleasure.
Okay, I'll move on to request for purchase. We have a consideration of a resolution to approve a request for purchase to Medler Electric in the amount of $112,884.75 for new post top lights and poles for Superior Street.
Move to adopt.
Support.
Any questions or
Just,
information?
this is some extra revenue sharing that we received instead of putting it into operations. Trying to finish out those lights along Superior Street. This order will get us completed on Superior Street.
Great.
All right.
Thank you. Okay, any other questions? Okay, do we have,
Move to adopt.
We did that.
We did that, already. We were in discussion, yeah.
Sorry.
So all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion is adopted. Number 2, consideration of a resolution to approve a request for purchase to Davenport Masonry and Restoration in the amount of $33,400 for repair of the Wright Park Monument.
Move to adopt.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion and support. Any questions or background?
This is the monument just to the east of the restrooms that are there. It recognizes Amy Wright and the dedication of that park to the city of Alma. The company that is in the purchase here is the same company that's working on the Wright Mansion right now, so.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, we have a motion and support. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we have adopted that. Number 3, consideration of a resolution to approve a request for purchase to Fishbeck in the amount of $2,190,900 for construction administration and construction observation services on the wastewater treatment plant improvement project, and also to authorize the mayor or vice mayor to sign any related documents.
Move to adopt.
Support.
Okay, and we have someone from...
No, this is the first step.
Okay.
What's next is the recommendation bids for the wastewater treatment plant project itself. This will be the contract for Fishbeck to oversee the construction of the project, making sure it's done properly. Obviously, we need somebody that has the expertise to watch over this project. It's a big number, it's a big project, so getting this taken care of will have us in line to make sure that we can get the next item taken care of,
Okay.
and then continue on with the CWSRF.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, any other questions? All those in favor of approving the request to Fishbeck, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we have approved that, thank you, adopted it. We now move on to recommendation of bids. We have a consideration of a resolution to receive bids and tentatively award a construction contract for improvements at the wastewater treatment plant. The following bids were received on June 10th, 2026, and the bid totals include a 6% contingency amount per Eagle requirements. And there are 5 bids.
There are a total of 5 bids.
Total of 5.
Yep.
And then are we making a recommendation on a tentative bid, and then we'll have
I
discussion?
will, once you open it up for discussion, we'll have, Fishbeck is here to talk about the bid numbers, their research into the contractors, and this board will need to, for the tentative resolution, need to choose one of the contractors and the dollar amount to put in that resolution, which will be sent into Eagle by July 1, so actually before the end of this week it'll be sent in, it's due by July 1. That keeps the process rolling for the CWSRF, for the project.
We need to adopt.
But we need to adopt something before we can open it for discussion, correct?
Nope.
Nope.
I want you to open up for discussion so you can hear what Fishbeck has to say
Okay.
about that. So just open the discussion up,
Okay.
and
right.
because then we'll go back and
Okay,
adopt something.
got it.
Because
Yep. I understand what's
Yep,
happening, I just didn't
because-
know the protocol, if we were
Yep.
okay for opening the discussion, or if we needed to tentatively say something, and then, but we're gonna open it for discussion, so if whoever is here from Fishbeck to give us some information, that would be great, if you could go to the podium. Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Andy Austin with Fishbeck Wastewater Engineer, so thank you for giving me the time to speak. Eric, if it's all right, I was going to go over to some of the deficiencies that are existing and what these improvements include. We'll get into
Yeah, that'd be helpful for not just here, but for the camera as well.
Yep. So the existing wastewater treatment plant, as we know, is aging. There's several structures out there that are 50-plus years old, if not older. I'm going to walk through kind of each of the systems as the water flows through the plant and kind of list some of the deficiencies with the existing plant. If anyone has questions throughout, feel free to interrupt and ask questions. So, starting with the headwork, so this is where all the wastewater comes in. There are a couple of pumps that are not sized properly, so at times they're oversized, causing cavitation and causing damage to the pumps. In the wastewater, you get a lot of grit from old sewers, so a lot of gravel, small pieces of concrete. They come in the sewer system, and that is not removed. There's no grit removal in the current wastewater treatment plant. So that grit gets pumped throughout the plant and causes issues, operational issues for the plant, settles out in basins that requires cleaning from time to time, taking up treatment capacity. The building itself, I don't know if you guys have been out to the wastewater treatment plant, the building where the headworks is and the electrical in there is past its useful life. It's 40 plus years old. There's deterioration to the concrete. And then the other thing is the headworks is in the floodplain, which is an issue as we've seen with large rain events. Trying to keep that building dry. Moving on, so from the headworks, wastewater gets pumped up into the aeration basins. Those are the basins on the north side of Washington Ave. There's 3 treatment basins and then a 4th basin for aeration, aerobic digester treatment of the sludge, and then sludge storage. Currently, those basins, air is blown into the basins through diffusers to treat biologically the wastewater, but there's no, it's over aerated, so there's extra electrical consumption. There's no decoupling. There's standards of how much air you need for mixing versus how much air you need for treatment. And currently, in order to keep the basins mixed and so you don't have solids settling out in the basins, the blowers are operating all the time. So there's extra electrical consumption there. Coming out of the basins, the wastewater flows back south across Washington Ave to 2 existing clarifiers. Those are the circular structures right to the west of the building, and those are used to settle out any solids left in the wastewater, larger solids. These are, I think they're about 7 foot deep, and to today's standards, they should be 12 foot deep. And they're a lot smaller. The volume is much smaller than, they're undersized, I should say, for the flows, especially during storm events. They become overwhelmed, and these structures are deteriorating in the last couple weeks. Actually, the day I think we received the bids, David brought it to our attention that the east one has begun to leak pretty bad. That needs to be addressed regardless. So we had a structural engineer come out yesterday, and we're coming up with some temporary solutions on how to repair that. It's literally wastewater running out the side across the ground. It's being collected and going back into the plant, but it's a pretty significant issue that needs to be resolved. Out of the clarifiers, wastewater then flows to the polishing ponds. That's a large pond on the south side of the wastewater treatment plant. These are, if you go out there right now, they're covered in algae. They're a large, surface of water, a lot of geese. Takes up a lot of footprint. It's also in the floodplain when you get high storm events, which is an issue. Another issue with the plan is there's no SCADA. So SCADA allows operators to remotely monitor systems. They can be in their office and they could log in and say, all right, the pumps and the headworks are working, or the circular clarifiers operating. Currently, there's no SCADA, so operators have to go out, check on the systems, make sure they're operating. There's no SCADA at remote lift stations so they don't know if there's an issue there. There's lift stations all over the town, so they physically have to go out and check on those, which takes more manpower and labor to go out and do that. Or if you had SCADA, you could have an operator checking on that, or they get alerts on their phone or computer. The existing plant has, there's one bathroom in there, there's one office, is Darren's office, and then the laboratory, the existing one has asbestos in it. It's, original, and needs to be updated. And the electrical switch gear has passed its useful life. So, a lot of deficiencies at the existing plant that we plan to correct or have been corrected in this new design. I guess any questions on any of that before I move into improvements? Okay. Now I'm going to go over the improvements that were part of the design that went out to bid. So there is one new main building that's going to be on the south side of Washington Ave that's going to house several of these treatment systems. The first one is there'll be a new headworks with a new screen to collect debris that'll be discharged into a compactor to be dewatered and then go into a dumpster that operators will dump a couple times a week. So that pulls all the debris out to protect downstream systems at the plant. After it flows through the screen, it goes into a vortex grit system, and that's exactly what it sounds like. It's a vortex. Spins the wastewater around, grit will settle out, and then that's pumped up and dewatered and hauled out as a waste also to remove all the grit so it doesn't get pumped in downstream systems. The big one is the aeration basin. Grit settles out in there, and I know, David, you guys have had to clean that out several times.
A couple times annually.
Yeah. And then after that, there will be 4 new pumps sized more appropriately. 3 of them will be for duty, 1 standby, so you'll have a spare pump. I know right now during rain events, they got to use both pumps to keep up, so you'll have that spare pump if, one is out of service for maintenance or something, to have your pump capacity. So from there, pump up to the aeration basins. The aeration basin itself, the structure is in good shape. The plan there is to decouple mixing and aeration for treatment. So we'll have the diffusers that disperse the air for the treatment of the wastewater, and then there'll be a mixing system that uses less energy than the blowers, because right now the blowers are running 24/7 at 60 hertz. The mixing system that has been proposed runs off compressors and gives intermittently bubbles. So that'll be decoupled. Coming out of aeration, there'll be 2 new secondary clarifiers located on the north side. On the east side of the property, north of Washington Ave, there's 2 old basins. The southern basin is where it's planned for 2 new circular clarifiers. There'll be 77-foot diameter clarifiers, 12-foot deep. In reference, I believe the existing ones are 63 foot, so much larger clarifiers to allow proper treatment. And then the wastewater flow back across underneath Washington Ave. And I should mention, all this piping going back and forth will be new. So there'll be new utilities, new electrical, new water lines under Washington Ave, and then Washington Ave will be repaired. Back into this main building, replacing the polishing ponds will be tertiary filters. And basically this is a material that catches the solids, 10 micron or larger, removes it from the wastewater. That solids on the plates are pulled off and sent back around the wastewater treatment plant, but the clean effluent that makes it through the tertiary filters is then sent on to disinfection. To give you a footprint, you've got the existing polishing ponds now that are, I don't know, an acre or two, and the new tertiary filters are maybe the size of this room, so a much smaller footprint. There'll be grading around them for the operators to be able to access and maintain, and much more user-friendly. Coming out of the tertiary filters, the wastewater, or effluent I should say, will flow into the chlorine contact and be disinfected, and then flow out to the creek for discharge. And as part of the project, we've got a new effluent pipe, because the existing one is just a 42-inch corrugated steel pipe that structurally is not very sound. So, a couple other items. Project includes new SCADA throughout the wastewater treatment plant, so all the processes will be able to be monitored from the office. The operators will be able to monitor, know when they get an alarm, all the data collection, so flows, air uses that come back to the SCADA that will be recorded, I should say, through the SCADA, so they're not, manually going to a flow meter every day. And they'll be able to see how the whole system is operational. In addition to the SCADA at the wastewater treatment plant, there'll be SCADA at the remote lift stations with new control panels. So all the existing control panels at the existing lift stations will be replaced and updated. The wastewater treatment plant, there's going to be a new laboratory, up to date for codes with chemicals, fume hoods, space, so operators have enough room to do their day-to-day testing, accessible. There'll be 2 doors in and out, so you don't have to go upstairs like the current laboratory, safety shower, chemical storage, and then there'll be a break room, a dedicated break room, where operators can go and have lunch and take breaks, and they're not in the laboratory or in the office space, so there'll be a fridge, microwave, dishwasher, and sink in there. And then there'll be offices for the superintendent. There'll be a conference room, and then there'll be a small office if you got to take a private call or need to do paperwork. I think that's it for the improvements, and there'll be all, like I mentioned, utilities under Washington Ave, but there'll be new utilities under service in between the systems. Polishing ponds will be decommissioned. We aren't filling them in or anything because they're in a floodplain, but there'll be a outfall that will be constructed so it fills up with water, just discharge with rainwater into the creek. So, any questions on any of that?
I know you said that there was some leakage that is being contained and put back in. How do we continue using the current while you're doing the upgrades? I'm sure there's a plan, but just...
So we did the inspection yesterday. We're coming up with options on how we can do a temporary repair. One of the reasons we need to do the repair is through all this construction, we have to keep one of the clarifiers operational.
Yes.
And we had planned on keeping that one operational. So that one is vital to stay operational. And like I said, it started 2.5 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. So we're working with our structural folks to come up with, a repair that's gonna last through the construction a couple years potentially. So it's not like, it's only gonna last a week or two. It's kind of gonna last a couple years, so we wanna make sure we get that correct.
Either be repair or temporary bracing, just to hold it through construction. Just the idea is to limp it along till it's ripped out.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Thank you.
So, any other questions on the improvements?
I'm trying to remember, we discussed this at length several times in the past few years. In the new building, 2 bathrooms, men and women? Okay.
Yes, locker rooms, yep.
Yeah, locker rooms, yeah, okay.
Yep.
I
And
didn't remember how that conversation came out, but
Yep,
locker rooms as well, men's and
Yeah,
women's, to
okay.
address that issue.
yep, sorry.
that's okay, thank you.
Want me to go into the bid evaluation?
Yeah, let's talk about the bids and what you found in your following up with our bidders.
Yep. So we just went out to bid for a little over a month. We had a pre-bid that wasn't mandatory, but we had good turnout at that. And then we received 5 bids for this project, which is great. The low bid was, I'll back up. You'll see in the table, there's a base bid and then alternates. And the low base bid was Spence Brothers, and then E&L Construction Group, and then RCL Construction. We reviewed all their documents to make sure they provided everything to meet the appropriate bid requirements. They did. And then, so upon that, we conducted a interview with the 3 low bidders, Spence Brothers, E&L Construction, and RCL Construction. And this is typical. We'll interview the 3 low bidders. We got questions we ask them just, to make sure they understand the project, they have capacity for the project, and then kind of talk through the work sequence and how they're going to construct this to make sure they understand we got to keep the existing plant operational and they're able to complete the project and the construction. So RCL, we interviewed them. Interview went well. They were the third low. E&L Construction Group, they're out of the Flint area. We interviewed them. They've done several wastewater treatment plants. They listed Platinum Construction, or Mechanical, I should say, as their mechanical contractor. We've worked with them several times over the year. And Platinum has done great work. The low bid, Spence Brothers, they're out of Saginaw, and their mechanical contractor was Andy Egan out of Grand Rapids. Andy Egan, they do a lot of industrial and pharmaceutical work. They've done some wastewater treatment plant work. They sent us some projects that they've done, some smaller projects over the years, but not as much as experience as some of the other mechanicals. So, but they do have experience in wastewater. The projects they do in the industrial and the pharmaceutical markets are in parallel. They're large projects, multi-million-dollar projects like we're looking at here, just not specific to wastewater treatment. The mechanical systems would be similar. There's going to be piping valves that are going to have to be installed, which would be similar to industrial applications. In this instance, you just have wastewater, flowing through it versus an industrial product. So, overall, Spence and E&L and RCL, they all interviewed well. understood the project, understood how to, they walked us through the steps of construction, the tie-in for the various components. So.
But the Spence Brothers has not done municipality, like the wastewater treatment plant
Spence Brothers has.
has.
Yes. And the other thing I forgot to mention, we called references for both Spence and E&L. Spence and E&L have both completed at GC's wastewater treatment projects.
Any issues with the bid process, Andy, or anything throughout that, and when we accepted them? Or as you went through there, was there any deficiencies in the bids or anything that was not acknowledged?
So there was no deficiency in the bids. They provided all the required information that is required as part of the bidding process. We didn't have any issues with that. We verified the information they provided. Eagle has some requirements that it met the Eagle requirements, and it did both for Spence and E&L.
So looking at experience, and then you just went through the size and scope of this project and the complexity of it. The low bidder, you're saying, is more on the private industrial side, not municipal waste management. Now, how much experience do they have in municipal waste services? I mean, that's what I think this commission really needs to know.
Yep.
Do they, sequencing of moving the systems around to make sure the plant is completely operational and having it on, moving at proper time so it's not discharging improperly or those other things. What confidence do we have in, and I know you said that they're just mostly done industrial, pharmaceutical, and something else. How close is that to, confidence in what this system is? I mean, there's a wide range of, if you've worked on wastewater treatment plants, there's a variety of things you can do. I mean, where are we at with their experience level on that end of it?
So they had some experience with wastewater treatment plants. They were some smaller projects from what had been sent to us. One of the big things that we look for is when we're like switching over a process or switching over pipe, and you may have a window of like 2 hours. And we don't just say that just because we, say you only have 2 hours. There's always wastewater treatment flow or wastewater flowing into the plant. So we talked in length with that with Spence Brothers, that they understood that, and them as the GC, obviously their mechanical is their sub, but they would have to coordinate that with their mechanical contractor. I got a list, I think, of 4 or 5 reference projects that were, they were complex, but maybe smaller than this project. Maybe more of a package plant. So.
Have you worked with any of these 3 companies the same size that we are currently doing?
Yeah, we worked with RCL and E&L. And Spence Brothers, I personally have not. Brian, my colleague, he's worked with them in the past.
But I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
So RCL and E&L Construction, you have Fishback has worked with them to the same size as ours. We have a lot to fix. Yeah. And there's been other wastewater treatment plants that need as much as we currently need, and you've worked with these other 2 companies?
Yes.
Okay.
Did you say that there was a difference in the electrical, that are they subcontracting with somebody that does the electrical? Because you mentioned Egan out of Grand Rapids, I think, for the Spence Brothers, but then E&L had someone that you have worked with and have good success with? Is that the difference? Because at first, initially it sounded like E&L was perhaps one that you had more confidence in, but then it sounded like you were saying they were equal as far as Fishbeck is concerned. So was it the mechanical part that?
So, yeah, E&L had Platinum Mechanical, we've worked with them in the past. Spence Brothers had Andy Egan, and they have, I'll say, what was shared with us, a smaller portfolio of wastewater treatment projects.
So that's where the difference is in what the experience or the confidence in having experience working with the large is more the...
Yeah, I want to say we don't have confidence in...
No, okay, those are my words.
Well, I'm just saying,
we're
like,
just trying to figure out
we're hiring you, obviously, your company. I personally would want somebody that you worked with the same, I mean, our list is huge, and we have to do it correctly. So I personally would want it to be somebody that you have worked with for the same size that we are, I mean.
Or has adequate experience to
Yeah.
feel confident that, but, so I don't want to put words in you. So you're equally confident with both Spence Brothers and E&L Construction, both with the mechanical people that have done, or electrical, mechanical, and...
I'm thinking E&L and RCO. Because they're at the higher level. Those are the two that have done the same business, or same size as we have, that they've worked with.
So when we're talking about E&L and Spence Brothers, the top two.
Yes.
The low bids.
Yep.
We're talking about a difference of almost 1.9 million between the two. But when we're talking about this project is basically $40 million.
Right.
But it's a complete it's a new facility.
Right.
So we only get one good shot at this to make sure that we do it right, because when we get these bonds set, we're looking at a 30-year payout. So
That's
we're gonna
what
have
I'm
to do
saying.
everything at once. So
I'd rather work with a company that has already done our size. That's what I'm saying.
So just to clarify, Spence has done projects this large.
But wastewater projects this large.
Yeah, Spence has, when we were talking, I was talking about the mechanical contract.
The mechanic, right, but that's the people that Spence would be
Jump in,
hiring
Adam,
for electrical.
I was going to say, I think Andy was saying that the folks who had not done a project this large was the mechanical contractor.
Right, but that's part of
Right.
that.
That's
That's what I'm
uses.
saying.
Right, but that's what I was clarifying.
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that you're saying one is less qualified. I was specifically asking, I thought I had heard you say that the electrical mechanical work for the lowest bidder had not done as many.
To clarify, the electrical and mechanical are completely separate.
They're not all part of
They're
the same
correct.
thing.
They're different.
You're just,
Well, part of the,
you're just referring to the mechanical.
yeah,
Yeah, so Andy's only referring to the mechanical sub, not the electrical sub.
Okay, but Egan is part of the bid with Spence Brothers.
what's that, sorry?
Egan is part of the bid with
Correct.
Spence Brothers
Yep,
for
they're listed
the mechanical.
Correct.
And that's the one that you have not, don't have as much experience, you have not worked with.
We've worked with them in the past, we don't have as much experience as Platinum.
And I think you said for them, for Spence's mechanical sub, they had done wastewater in the past, but it was smaller scale. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
We've been providing.
Right. So you're not saying that they're not capable. I'm just clarifying for us that they perhaps have less experience in the mechanical portion of the bid than the second lowest bid.
that is correct.
Okay, that's
From what their research they've done, the mechanical under E&L has done more of these types of projects than the mechanical over there. We're talking about, like I said, 1.9 million, give or take, difference between the two. Now, the number could be a couple different things. If they haven't done a lot of those, maybe that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get into that type of business. But when we're looking at that, we are not required underneath the CWSRF with Eagle to take the low bid. So whatever we, this board feels the most comfortable with, within reason, obviously we don't want to, go the top bid here, because we have a budget.
And I probably wasn't asking questions with the correct words. I try to write things down so that I know, but I thought that you had a recommendation for us of one over the other, but, so I was just trying to clarify that we don't have to take the lowest bid, and if we feel more comfortable with someone who has had more experience in the mechanical part of it, and that Fishbeck is not saying that one is not better than the other, but us as the city. And Dave, I don't want to put you on the spot, but do you have a thought that you could share about what you would prefer, or what, because, I can listen to this and look at this, but I don't do this myself every day, so I would go with people that have had some more experience.
No, I appreciate you asking, thank you. It's a tough decision, and based on what we know and don't know, it is tough. If you ask me directly, based on what we have at the plant, the deficiencies that we have, and I can speak for the staff over there, I believe, we definitely want experience over there. We definitely have a series of issues over there based on just a clarifier. I wish I was joking when those bids came in that week. That's when the clarifier showed us the ugly head. So based on the construction timelines we have, like you mentioned, sometimes we're going to have a week. If anybody remembers the Gallo project, same engineers that we dealt with the Gallo project on. Sequencing is very important, and I don't want to speak for the Gallo project, but I know this one with wastewater is just as critical, if not more, because we're actively treating wastewater. So we still have to meet Eagle requirements throughout this 3-year project. So experience with the project means a lot to us as far as staff. It'll help to reduce some heartburn based on sequencing of replacement, sequencing of construction. If there's any kind of opportunities or experience to where you can speed certain phases of it up. Other things as far as once equipment is on and functional, as far as troubleshooting, that type of thing, that is important to us. So familiarity is important to us.
Thank you.
Without any more, that's based on the information that I know and based on what I've talked about with Fishbeck. So I appreciate the question.
That people need to learn, but I'm not willing for a 40 million or whatever it was project for the city of Elma's wastewater treatment plant that needs to last us for 30-some years to be the guinea pig of someone learning. I would just feel personally more comfortable with someone with a little more experience under their whatever belt, whatever you call it, for this. So that's what I was just trying to clarify. So thank you, Andy, and thank you, Dave. Did you have anything else, Andy, that you were going to say, or are we?
Not related to the bids. Okay. You want me to kind of cover the timeline? Yes, or timeline?
Yes, that would be helpful, because this is why we're here right now, as opposed to, I was hoping we had until the next meeting to talk about this, to give us more time to.
Sounds like it needs to start.
But we have to do this.
Yeah. So you guys were awarded a Q4 SRF funding, and there are milestones that you have to hit throughout that start in December and go through, the latest is October of the next year. So we were awarded the design in December, designed it. There were milestones we had hit along the way, submittals to Eagle for plan review, to get your Part 41. Those were met. And a couple of just to give you an understanding of the timeline, the set to bid by 5/22, which we had it out in early May. The bids had to be opened by 6/23, which we opened on 6/10. And then the big one is a tentative resolution of the award by July 1st. So we bumped that stuff back a couple weeks, because if you went by this timeline, that basically gave you 8 days after you receive bids to tentatively award the contract. And the tentative award is exactly what it sounds like. You're tentatively awarding the contract. You're not signing up to, putting in an ink or anything. But that keeps you in the SRF project. If it's not tentatively awarded, you forego the SRF funding, and then if you forego SRF funding, last year they made it a regulation that you have a 3-year period where you cannot reapply for SRF funding. So
Critical.
yeah, so that's another downfall. So the 7/1 date to tentatively award, and then the loan closing doesn't have to occur until August 27th. So that gives you almost 2 months to discuss it among the council, look at funding before you have to close on the loan. But the big thing is this July 1st date. You've got to keep in the process and keep the SRF funding going. You need to tentatively award the project.
Thank you.
And we're hopeful, as we keep going this process, that sometime in August, we'll know if other SRF funds are available. Because that will dictate the next conversation of, this project. What do we do with it? How do we fund it? And what it will cost locally.
So we have requested additional SRF funds. The day we got the bids in, we reached out to Eagle. To Eric's point, we're not going to hear back on that until all the Part 3s are submitted from the other projects around the state, and that's going to be mid to late July. But we have been in contact with Eagle requesting those additional funds. And as soon as we hear, we will share it with the city. So.
Any other questions for Andy? Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Okay, so we did the discussion first. Does anyone have anything else that they want to discuss or ask? So now we would need a motion to accept a tentative award, or to receive the bids and tentatively award a construction contract. Do I do that?
Nope. One of the board members has to do it.
Okay. I will make that motion to receive the bids and adopt the bid of E&L Construction Group, Flint, Michigan, for the tentative award.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion and support. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we have received the bids and tentatively awarded a construction contract for the improvements at the wastewater treatment plant to E&L Construction Group out of Flint, Michigan. Okay, thank you.
Can you read the amount too, please?
For
Yeah.
$38,487,540. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Okay, now we'll move down to smaller amounts. Consideration of a resolution to ratify investment of the following city funds. We have 2 CDs, excuse me, $250,000 each. One with BMO Bank and one with Dart Bank that are part of via Fifth Third Securities.
Move to adopt.
Support.
Okay, we have the motion and support. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
That has passed. Thank you. Consideration of a resolution to approve fiscal year 2026 budget amendments as presented.
Move to adopt.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion and support. Is there
All right, I'll get,
discussion of our...
we'll run down the 5 items that we have, and this is closing out for the end of the year. this fiscal year. Increase the streetlight expenditure by $113,000 and increase the intergovernmental revenue budget by $113,000 for the additional streetlights for the additional funds received from the state of Michigan for this fiscal year. That was on your agenda this evening. Increase the economic development expenditure budget by $615,000 and increase the intergovernmental revenue budget of $615,000 for the build out of the business incubator space down at the old boiler house, downstate the Wright Peen Opera Block. That award was approved on June 9th, and that is a pass-through grant from the federal government. To increase the downtown maintenance expenditure budget by $10,000 and decrease the buildings and grounds maintenance expenditure budget by $10,000 to reallocate the public works time to the appropriate department. Again, to increase the cemetery expenditure budget by $10,000 and decrease the buildings and grounds maintenance expenditure budget by $10,000 to reallocate public works time to the appropriate department. And then lastly, to increase the information technology expenditure budget by $5,000 and to decrease the financial administration expenditure budget by $5,000 for additional contractual services charged to the department in the current fiscal year.
Thank you. Okay, any questions? Okay, we have a motion and support. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, thank you. Consideration of a resolution to approve a ballot proposal for the November 3rd, 2026 general election for consideration of a 6-year library dedicated millage from 2027 to 2032, inclusive for capital improvements, repairs, and maintenance of the Alma Public Library building and grounds.
Move to adopt.
Support.
And you've seen the language in the last meeting. The only thing we did do was, at the request of this board, we did put up to 1 mil. That is in the language, so.
Okay, thank you. Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Consideration of a resolution to adopt ordinance number 853 for regulation of replacement of all galvanized water lines and infrastructure within City of Alma geographic boundaries.
Move to adopt.
Support. Okay, we have a motion and support.
Again, this is the final step, and that way we need folks to let us in to replace their galvanized lines free of charge before the grant goes away with the drinking water SRF. So,
And how many do we have left?
4.
Oh, goodness. Okay, come on, final 4. Let's get them done before the money goes away.
Yes. Or it'll be, according to this ordinance, it'll be under their dime to do
Yep.
that. So,
Yep, we want to get the free money for you, so please. Any questions, please call City Hall. Okay, we have motion support. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Consideration of a resolution to approve a purchase agreement for the remaining 5 city-owned lots in Phase 1 of Gemstone Fields with Michigan Housing Partnership, LLC, and to authorize the city manager to execute the purchase agreement on behalf of the City of Alma. And there's a note that the sale price for the lots is $6,500 each, with the stipulation that the first home is under construction within 6 months of closing and shall permit a minimum of 1 house every 6 months thereafter.
Move to adopt.
Support.
We have motion and support. Any questions or?
the note said it all. That note said it all. Hopefully within the next 2 years, we'll have the rest of those lots built out with single-family homes.
Perfect, wonderful, that's great. Okay, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, approve that agreement, thank you. The City Commission may receive the following reports by one resolution, or you may remove any item within the section for individual discussion and vote. We have the Zoning Board of Appeals, June 10th, 2026 draft meeting minutes, the Finance May 2026 report, and the City Manager's report.
Move to receive 1 and 2.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion to receive 1 and 2. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we move on to...
Move to receive number 3. City Manager's report.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion and support on that, and Eric, you have...
Just real short, just wanted to bring up, we're working on what we're calling Walk Your Wheels in downtown. So we'll be sending out a survey to those business owners, property owners, and those that live in downtown. Our goal is there to get people to stop riding bikes, scooters, hoverboards, whatever it may be, on the sidewalk within the area of downtown from Prospect to Pine, and on Superior Street, the north side, where we have the majority of our business fronts. We're going to try to do it in a way that's more educational and encouraging, as opposed to, because this was prohibited back before 2012. At the request of the downtown, to make it more friendly, they asked to remove that prohibition. So we did that, and now here we are. That's what old things are new again. So here we are again. But this time around, it's not just bicycles. There's a whole host of ways to get around now with wheels. So there'll be more to come on that. So we're starting on that. And then on the social district, we have the social district public hearing done. There's 3 more items that we need to approve. One being the ordinance to allow for that in our zoning board, our zoning book of ordinances. Then to establish our social district and common areas. And then lastly, after speaking with some other communities, a resolution to allow for staff review and approval of applications that come in from the local liquor licensed businesses that are in the downtown that like to petition the state for a social district license. So even if it was, it is approved here locally from staff, they still have to get approved by the state of Michigan and get that license. So, and pay a yearly fee for that. So I just wanted to let you know we're getting close to bringing that to you for all those approvals. And then lastly, you're seeing the work all around with the city for the seal coating and crack sealing. Downtown, you're seeing lots 4 and 8 done, which is back behind the Opera Block, and Brown, just north of what used to be the Brown Printing Building. Scotland Yard Park, that one is done, next to Beacon and Bridge. Lot 5, which is the lot just on Woodworth Avenue, right to the east of the Heritage Dental Clinic. And then we also, this is part of the overall project that we approved back at early part of the year. Riverside Park is getting seal coated and striped. King Park, Wright Park, Conservation Park, the Downtown Rail Trail Park, which is a park next to Park Avenue right across from the water plant, and then the Charles Avenue trailhead. Again, trying to maintain some things so they last longer. So, and they always look really nice once you seal coat and stripe.
Yeah, that looks really nice.
And that's all.
Thank you. Okay. All those in favor of receiving the city manager's report, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right, now we have anyone interested in paying our appropriations?
Move to pay.
Support.
Okay, all those in favor of paying the appropriations, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we have paid the appropriations. Okay, commissioners' comments and reports. Roger.
Happy summer.
Sarah, you have anything? No?
I'm good.
I just want to say thank you to Fishback for all your work. It's very exciting that it's going to be complete starting. It's really needed.
I had something I was going to say, and it just escaped me. I have to walk your wheels, made me think cool your jets. So,
Yeah.
Cool your jets, walk your wheels, be safe. Okay, so is there anyone of the public who would like to talk for a few minutes more?
I would.
You would? Okay, let's come on up.
Les Rosetti again, 889 Mill Street here in Elm. Regarding the bikes, that wasn't what I was going to talk about here in my 5 minutes, but I think it needs to extend out beyond the downtown area. We have a yield sign in the corner of Philadelphia and Mill Street, and we have these, I've seen everything. I mean, the upright scooters you stand on, e-bikes, e-motos, which are not an e-bike, even though they are confused as such. And somebody is going to get hurt. Somebody's going to get killed because these kids, they're kids. They're out of school now and they're everywhere. And they go through this yield sign and there's usually more than one. There's 3 or 4 and of course they're being kids. And they're not paying attention. They don't know how to ride on the roads. and you have vehicles that are not allowed, e-bikes, the 3 categories of e-bikes can be on a roadway. But the rest of these e-motos or anything that falls outside of the classification of the top speed of 28 miles an hour, and that's pedal assist, that's a class 3 with a 750 watt motor. Class 2 is the only one that can have a throttle that's up to 20 miles an hour, and then it cuts out. Class 1 is up to 20, pedal assist only. Nick Pickle and I were riding the other day, right by the water plant, and this gal, she was probably 13 maybe, she blew by us. We were doing, probably 12, 13, and she was going well over 20 and full throttle. So she's on a bike that shouldn't even be on the road. And there are a number of cities in the state, I just did a list, and they've all recognized there's a problem developing this, because they're just going to get more prevalent, there's going to be more and more of them. And I don't want to see somebody hurt or killed because they got hit by a car. And that's going to happen. It's just a matter of time if something isn't done, and an education component is part of that. With your website, with your Facebook page, working with the schools. But I'm guessing out of this group here, you couldn't define the 3 categories of e-bikes to me. All of them. And what you think may be an e-bike isn't an e-bike. So anyway, that wasn't what I'm talking about. I think you should look farther out than just whether they should be on the sidewalks or not downtown. So, okay. What I really wanted to speak about is the tendency in this city of large corporations to come in, they seek sometimes tax dollars, tax abatements, state money, and then they build new stuff and whatever, and then we've lost a number of them. And I'm not necessarily blaming the companies for bad management, but when they leave a mess behind. Alma Products, they just vacated their building out there on an avenue, I guess in December. It's already looking overgrown and shaggy. The front of that building, where they built the office area, is beautiful. I mean, the rest of it looks more industrial. But they're not taking care of that, and then they abandoned the property on Court Street. Anywhere between 2000, I first said late 2006, early 2007, and then I found something else that said it was 2009 where they actually vacated. I have one picture that I found online. There was a date stamp on the picture, and it was 2010, and the building was for sale at that time. There's no for sale sign. The Court Street thing has been close to 20 years. I checked with the county whether there'd been any action taken against them, and they said early on, when they first closed, they had a couple of minor things with vegetation and blight, and apparently they rectified that at the time. Since that time, there's been nothing done. That building fronts up against, they own 9 acres of property. It's not just, they own 9 acres. And that butts up to a residential area, and it's kitty corner from the library. And there's a lot of traffic that goes by there. And I think it's just, it destroys some of the ambiance of the community when you have these huge complexes that just go away. And they had a picture of the building somewhere where their headquarters are located. That's a really nice looking building, you know, and then they close these here and they don't take care of them. That one is bad. You have that thing out on Heather Drive or Heather Lane where they've got steel girders and stuff up. They have, I think, $17,000 in unpaid taxes. That my time?
That's your time.
You're going to kick me out right away?
We are.
Okay. Can I get those to you, the pictures and stuff, tomorrow?
That's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Les.
Anyone else have anything to say? All right. Motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Okay, all in favor? Say aye. Okay, thank you so much, everyone, for your help and getting through the meeting.